Christmas, obviously, people are looking to choose their own Christmas trees. I recommend buying from a reputable supplier. Always try and buy as fresh a Christmas tree as possible and it'll last longer. Treat them like a cut flower and put them in a bucket or in a Christmas tree stand that will contain water, so you can water them every day to keep them as fresh as possible. Obviously, there are lots of different types of Christmas trees. The majority that you'll see on the market at the moment are Nordmann firs. These are often known as low needle drop Christmas trees because they don't drop their needles. The traditional ones that you used to have as a child that you'll probably remember were the Norway spruce. These are very prickly and they smell lovely. They're ideal for outside because they won't drop their needles outside. However, with central heating nowadays in a warm home, they're not ideal for inside unless you really do make sure they're very, very fresh and water them very often. I think making a gift for somebody at Christmas is very, very fulfilling rather than just buying something. You can make all sorts of things like do your own flower arrangements and make wreaths. Wreaths is a lovely idea, or table decorations. You can either do these from Oasis and lots of greenery from your garden, cones from the wood you may pick up, berries from holly around the garden, or you can do a traditional wreath that we make at the nursery where you have a wire ring, then you moss it, green it, holly it, and then decorate it with ribbons, cones, berries, and anything you may want to put on it to make it look colourful. Indoor presents at Christmas that are very popular are bowls and indoor houseplants. For example, you'll remember a poinsettia. Everybody remembers poinsettia. There's such a wonderful Christmas plant. Nowadays they come in pinks, whites and speckled colours. We have one at the nursery called Jingle, which is red with white spots. Poinsettias originate from Mexico, therefore English winter weather conditions aren't really ideal for the plant. However, the best way to look after them is let them dry out and go bone dry before you water them again. Never let them stand in any water, and make sure they're properly wrapped and kept warm when you buy them from a reputable supplier. Keep them out of drafts. Any drafts or any cold, they will die off. They need at least 16 degrees centigrade, so put them in the warmest room in the house. At Christmas, you also see a lot of cyclamen and Christmas cacti and anthuriums, spathiphyllums and orchids, which are lovely for indoor arrangements if you can't get on with a poinsettia. Cyclamen like the coolest room in the house. They like to be watered from the bottom only, and they like to be kept damp most of the time. Christmas cacti are very easily pleased. You can almost neglect them, but do, check for watering occasionally. Anthuriums like a nice warm room with a bit of sunshine. I remember when I was on honeymoon, we saw these growing in the wild in Mauritius, so they obviously like very hot conditions. In the garden at this time of year, obviously, if it's frosty and cold, you can't necessarily do a lot. Don't walk on your grass when it's frosty because this will damage it. Remember to look after the birds in the winter. They obviously have their own things to forage on and feed on in your garden, such as your holly, which has berries on if it's female. Hawthorn has berries on. Rowan and sorbus have berries on as well. So if you don't feel you have a lot to feed your birds with, you can plant these for next year and keep your birds fed. A lot of keen gardeners sow their onions on Boxing Day, particularly such as Robinson's Mammoth variety, and this is to produce the biggest bulbs for next summer. So if you're a keen gardener and into showing to grow the biggest onions possible, you need to be sowing them on Boxing Day.